Now we'll move to the next zone, which is preparing the condition. It's like sowing the seeds, like the picture on the left top corner suggests. You are basically sowing the seed, and when you sow the seed, you should be worried about all what it takes to really germinate that seed and become and take a shape and sprout and then come out of the earth and then become a plant. So when you are sowing the seed, you are basically taking care of the conditions. You are only responsible to prepare the conditions. Like in a typical farming case, you will be taking care of the soil, you will take care of the sunlight, you will be taking care of proper watering and rest of the other things. So in the same fashion, if you really are focused on preparing the condition, you are actually helping your mentee to grow from that small seed to a bigger plant. How does it begin? So it begins with the repo. Earlier also I mentioned that while selecting the mentee, you should be very cognizant about finding some commonality and some common issues or some common interest areas. So repo building is nothing but finding and creating the common interest areas and start beginning to develop relationship. We all have been indulging into n number of relationships, but I think with mentee, this relationship has to be very, very special. And while building the repo, the mentee at least should start realizing that you as a mentor are interested in his or her growth, and you have nothing and absolutely nothing but only the concern about his growth and success. So if you are able to convey that message in the repo building stage, I think that really creates lots of good impact in the mind of mentee. This is basically a step from where mentor actually starts looking at you completely as a different person, because he now sees that here is one guy on this planet who is concerned and only looking for my growth and success. So repo building is a very, very important step. Once you start developing that relationship, you also have to translate that relationship into a partnership. So when I say partnership, obviously we are not talking about the financial partnership or any of those sort of things, but we are talking about the things where you are partnering with him in terms of efforts, you are partnering with him in terms of facing the challenges, you are partnering with your mentee in case he is stuck because of some issues or some problems. So these are the areas where mentee is looking for somebody who is not just hand holding, but also holding that hand, he takes it, takes him or her out. So you slowly have to, shift the gear from this stage. Once the relationship is established, you need to start converting that into a partnership. Another important thing is believe in mentees' dreams. I have been, coaching quite a few number of business owners and CEO level or C-level people. Many a times I come across some of the aspiration of people where they have, on the face of it, it looks like they have very unrealistic aspiration or goal. For example, without taking name, I can share one story where one of my coachee or my client, shared his aspiration that he wants to be a winner of Bharat Ratna Award. So on a normal day under the sunlight, anybody would, laugh at him because he had only 3 years of experience. The guy really did not have enough communication skill. He was still, struggling to find his feet in his respective business. But when he shared his expectations or aspirations with me, my immediate response to him, not as a mentor, of course, we were in a pure professional relationship, but the mentor inside me just told him that, yes, it is possible, why not? So no matter what your dreams are, as a mentor, as a coach, as a guide, if you know that there is a process available and there can be a process that can be developed to meet any damn dream of your mentee, I think that gives them a whole lot of confidence. It really, boosts their morale, and you will enter into a completely different kind of bonding. Then obviously both of you together need to focus on the process and the steps which are required on the way to achieve their respective aspiration or dream or goal. So believe in mentee's dream is very, very important. Like I said, initially it might look like, it's a very weird kind of aspiration or a goal. Sometimes the current situation or circumstances also do not determine whether one can achieve, and hence it is important to draw a mental plan to confirm what's possible and what's not. Sometimes a very high level of dreams, like I said, receiving a Bharat Ratna award seem impossible or even weird, but consistent and directed efforts can definitely make it possible. I think this is something that mentor should know by virtue of his or her own experience. Then, as part of preparing the conditions, like I said, you should be bothered and concerned about preparing the soil, ensuring that there is enough sunlight for a seed to grow and germinate, and also you should take care of proper watering. There are certain development ingredients. So if you take care of those, and I'll just talk about them. One of them is skills and habit. No matter how talented or naturally gifted your mentee is, everyone needs to learn and excel in some or the other critical success skills. As a mentor, it is your duty, I think it is your prerogative to figure out what kind of skills your mentee really requires. Inculcating a good habit, whether it is a personal or a professional habit, but one positive habit can really, if you are able to inculcate in your mentee, I think it takes them really a long way. It could be in the areas of self-development, it could be in the area of health or a lifestyle, but one positive habit that if you are able to inculcate, and if you are able to inculcate more habits, more positive habits in different areas that I talked about, I think you are doing and you are setting up your mentee to really scale newer peaks. Identify the skills or the ones which your mentee needs and encourage him to learn it. So going back to the skills area, like I said, you should be able to identify that this guy is lacking in this area or that area, or maybe this is something that he needs it now, or the other skill that he might need over a period of time. This is something that if you are able to convey and also make a plan for him, or let him make a plan for itself, you are doing a great justice to your mentoring responsibility. Everybody works with goals. We all know the importance of goal setting, right from our childhood till the time of the life that we have lived so far. Maybe some of you have really worked with goals. Some of the people have not formally worked with the goal. But here I am emphasizing on working with a stretched goal. If there is something easier to achieve, I think that's not about mentorship. Mentorship is all about really stretching your mentee to have a stretched goal that actually tests their skill and their talent. If you really want to make an impact, and if your mentoring has to be impactful, this is one area that every mentor should focus, is to guide your mentee to work with the stretched goal, and also help them to develop the milestones and connect those milestones to develop a complete roadmap to achieve their stretched goal. There are lots of material and lots of training programs available on goal setting and stuff like that. But if you have developed your own, I would strongly recommend that you should definitely transfer this particular aspect to your mentee, and I think that really changes the complete character of the mentee. What it does is basically it helps improve the focus of your mentee. Without goal, the mentee might be putting lots of effort, and he feels like he's putting a lot of hard work and he's really burning the midnight oil. But at the end of the day, if he's not getting the kind of things that he has expected, the chances are that he might lose the interest and he will get defocused. So working with a goal in front of you, I always say that you should have a goal written on the wall. So, and then shoot for it. Once the goal is defined, you develop an associated milestone and develop a roadmap which connects those milestones. What happens is when mentee gets into a habit of achieving these milestones, achieving a bigger and a stretched goal, or sometimes unrealistic, dreams or aspiration that we talked about earlier, becomes very easy for them. So it is about, pushing him in the direction of testing the success step by step. Then this is also very important to establish a line of sight between vision and reality. It's absolutely necessary for mentee to know what they are doing today is contributing to a bigger picture. Many a times people are not able to relate as to what they are doing. And it can happen with some of the professionals also who are still working as an employee, and maybe some of the small business owners or small entrepreneur, that they are not able to understand and comprehend that today the efforts that they are putting, how it is actually contributing to a bigger picture. So if you are able to develop a line of sight between their daily effort and daily contribution, and that with the bigger picture, that is what improves the impact of your mentorship. So it is also important that a line of sight between mentee's target and the effort that they are putting is established, and line of sight not only helps them to understand the importance of their effort, but it also creates an enthusiasm. It keeps up the tempo and it keeps up the energy also. And this is what is always expected from a mentor. Whenever you have a meeting with your respective mentee, isn't it important that they always look at you as someone who is highly energetic and highly dynamic? So when your mentee also reciprocates in the same fashion, I think it does a lot of good in terms of creating the impact.